fine. So welcome to today class, and today we are going to discuss about Eureka server. Okay, Eureka server. So what is this Eureka server, and why we need this Eureka server as part of Spring Cloud microservice? We will discuss now. Previously, we done our previous classes. We done config server, Spring Cloud config server, how we are going to configure our properties in an external way in a centralized repository, Visa. So now one more feature in a microservices, one more feature is called Eureka server. So Netflix operating system is providing this Eureka server, So this is the one of the cloud platform, so that it is providing some Eureka server. So using Eureka server. So what is this Eureka server? Why we need this Eureka server, and which scenarios and which use case the Eureka server is using? We will see now. So nowadays, in the Eureka server, we are going to do the service discovery and service registry. So what is service discovery and what is service registry? Service registry in the sense we are going to register our service in this Eureka server. Service discovery means we are going to discover the service in this server, some of the service already registered by the some other clients. So that is nothing but a service registry. So just by seeing Eureka dashboard, so every server is a dashboard, right? If you're after configuring the Eureka server in your cloud environment, so you can open this dashboard. You can see what are the services are available, what are the services are available to the outer world or to the clients. What are the services are registered in this Eureka server? We will see now. So let me share my let me share the notes or some points about Eureka server, and by exact use case of this server we will see now. The Eureka server we will see now. So let me open that. Fine. So fine. So Spring. Okay, you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
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 Now see, whatever I am telling the point, keep listening, please, so that you will aware why we need Eureka server as part of cloud microservices. So see, Spring Cloud discovery with the Eureka, Netflix Eureka. So Eureka is the one component, one server component. We can call it as that service as a Eureka. The Netflix people named it as a Eureka server. Fine. So we will be using Spring Boot based Spring Cloud API. Fine. Of course, we are using fine. So we will use Netflix Eureka server for building. We will use Netflix Eureka server. Of course, we are using Netflix components only for building the service registry and service registry server, and Eureka clients which will register themselves and discover other services to call REST APIs. So here simple in two statements. Simply we can register our service in that Eureka server, and we can call in what server if you want call another service. So you can find that service information in this Eureka server. So why we need to register, and why we need to find the other services in Eureka server? We will see now. Now see what is Netflix Eureka server and clients. That is what we need to know now. So this is the use case. Please listen. So as of now, as we know these days, so nowadays there is a lot of momentum around microservices. So previously, if you see, previously we didn't heard about the microservices. Nowadays, they want all the organization move to their legacy applications to the microservice applications. So that is what here I'm saying. So nowadays, there is a lot of momentum around microservices. The transition from monolithic to microservice based architecture gives many benefits to future in terms of maintainability. Yes, maintainability, scalability, high availability, etc. Of course. So monolithic applications we cannot maintain. Why? Because there are lot of complications, there are a lot of configurations, there are a lot of dependencies are there. So that we cannot maintain monolithic applications. If it is a microservice, we can easily maintain. So that is the reason all the monolithic applications to transition. They want to transform from monolithic to microservice. So that is the reason why monolithic to microservice. Maintainability easy, scalability easy. Scalability in the sense we need to control the load of that application, and high availability. We need to give the high availability, which means fault tolerance, which means high availability means 24/7. We can give the availability of that service. So these parameters or these factors we can easily provide from the microservices only. So that is the reason all the companies or organizations are moving around these microservices. They want to transform, they want to transition monolithic service to the microservice application. So this is what the key factors, why they are converting to the monolithic to microservice. Then okay, fine. However, the same time, there are many challenges also while doing the migration. Exactly. So while doing migration, there are many challenges. What are the challenges? What are the challenges? In the challenges, one of them is maintain individual microservices address. Obviously, suppose you have one monolithic service. So you want to convert that monolithic application to the microservice. So monolithic application is nothing but there is a lot of dependencies. There are the complications. There is a lot of complicated code, and all the uh, uh, that is there is a lot of boilerplate code, and all the business logic we are writing in a one place. So there is no different layers or different components to maintain the good readability or better way of writing code. So those things are not followed in a like legacy applications. So we can say that those monolithic applications, monolithic applications. So fine. So you are able to hear, right? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So this can be so one of them maintain individual addresses of microservices. So if you want to convert from monolithic to microservice, you need to separate different small applications called microservice applications. At that time, you need to maintain each and every microservice host, each and every microservice port number, and each and every microservice address where it is deployed. So like that, to maintain individual microservice addresses, this task can be hugely complex. Exactly. So if you don't know, if you are some other person, other person is working in our organization. He worked 2 years or 3 years. He suddenly left the company. Where is the some last developer 10 microservice? But newly I joined, or newly one of our friend will join. So you don't know, right? So how many services are developed? How many services are developed in this organization? See, what is this behavior of our team? What is our behavior of our account? How many services are maintained by this account? So what I need to do, how can I know how the developer services behaviors in my organization? How can I know in my organization? So that will be very complex. So depending on number of services, depending on number of services, then dynamic nature. So we don't know, right? So in whole infrastructure is distributed, there is some replica as well. Then maintaining these services address becomes harder. Exactly. So if you have more services in individual microservices, from whenever we are converting a monolithic to microservice. So we have many services. Why? Because monolithic is the only one application. It is a huge complex project. So from that we are dividing into smaller microservices for the better performance, to reduce the dependencies on one request to another request, or one component to another component. So like that. So whenever we are dividing these services, so to maintain these addresses are very harder. So we don't know. So at that time, to resolve this issue, to resolve this, in this distributed computing are there is a concept called a service registry and service registration and discovery. So if you have such type of situations or such type of use case, no worry. So you need to register each and every service in one place. That place is called Eureka server. So I am providing one server called Eureka server. you need to register each and every service. You need to register each and every service in that server, so that server will give you a dashboard where you can find all, where you can discover all the services and along with the service behavior also. So that is what Eureka server. So where one dedicated server is responsible to maintain the registry of all microservices has been deployed and removed. So what are the services are deployed, what are the services are removed, and what is the service address, what is the service port number, what is the service host name. So all these things we can maintain in one place called, that is called a Eureka server. That is called a Eureka server. So this will act like your phone book of all our microservice applications, or our other applications are microservices. So this is nothing but a one phone book. This is nothing but a one index of phone book, your telephone book. Like that, we can have all the addresses of our microservices. So fine. Think it is a, if it is a lookup service where microservices clients can register themselves and discover other registered microservices. Exactly. So when a client microservice register with Eureka, it provides metadata such as I said, right, such as host, port number, health indicator, which means whether the service is up or not, whether the service is up or down, following other microservices to discover it. So in this phone book, if it is a lookup service, if it is a lookup service, which means whenever we are writing a small component on Eureka server, so that each and every services we need to register in that lookup service, so that whenever you are opening that service or whenever you are opening that Eureka dashboard, you can find what are the services are available in my organization, what are the services are up and running in my organization, what are the services are down in my organization, and what service is running in which port, so that all information you can aware and you will able to know. So this will be very easy, right? So this will be very easy to maintain their scalability, their maintainability, their availability. So if it is any server is down, we can up based on that information. Otherwise, we don't know until and unless some notification coming from some other clients, they are facing issue. Hey, this server is down. I don't know why it is down. Like that, we may got some responses from clients. So instead of that, we can avoid those kind of situations. We can maintain a one place called one service, one server place called Eureka server. So Eureka server is providing this type of feature. So the discovery server expects a regular heartbeat messaging from the each microservice instance. So this discovery server heartbeat message in the sense. So each microservice instance. So one is exactly heartbeat in the sense when the service is up, it is automatically taking the uh, uh, it will automatically taking the, okay, the service is up, it is showing the dashboard. If the service is down, it will not showing the dashboard. So like that, it will monitoring. How it will be monitoring? What are the components will help to this heartbeat? Heartbeat in the sense that health check of the service. The service is up, then service is we can show the dashboard. If the service is down, we can show it will be disappear. So at that time, we need to check whether why service is down, like that. So this is what uh, uh, one of the feature from this service. If an instance being constantly fails to send heartbeat, the discovery server will remove instance from the registry. Yes, if the service is constantly failed, which means if the service is down, automatically it will be discovered. It will be disappeared from the Eureka dashboard, right? This way, we will have a very stable ecosystem of microservices collaborating among each other. Yes. So whatever we discussed now, that is what I conveyed here. So and on top of, we don't have manually maintain addresses. Yes, we don't. We no need manually manual addresses of microservice, which is a next impossible task if a scale up and scale down is very frequently and demand. We can use a virtual host service, especially the cloud environment. So which is a next impossible task of the scale up and scale down. I already tell you, right? So whenever we are having a load, right? So the services may be down due to this scale up and scale down, which means whenever you are writing a load balancer, whenever you are defining a load balancer in your service. So for example, you are defining a load balance of 10, but the requests are at a time it is coming more than 10. So obviously service will hang and will down, right? So at that time we can able to know. So if you want to maintain scale up and scale down dynamically, that we can configure load balancer in the next class. But here we will know, hey, that service is down due to some due to some load, due to some hunks, due to some issue. We will aware from this dashboard. Otherwise, we don't know where we need to found. Like so, like that, we can have all the information related to all our microservices. Fine. Netflix Eureka example. Now our example. So what is we are going to do in this Netflix Eureka using this? So give me 1 second, friends. Let me pause recording.
Okay, fine. So, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Sorry, some emergency call I got. Sorry. Okay, fine. So now Netflix Eureka example. So Eureka service register server. Of course, we need a one small microservice to integrate this Eureka server. So this microservice will provide the service registry and discovery servers. Correct. Exactly. So whatever the applications we will register with the Eureka server. This application will show dashboard. All microservices will be registered. Fine. Now I am creating a two microservices, individual microservice. One is the student microservice, one is the school microservice. So which will give. So we are going to register student microservice in this Eureka server, and also we are going to register the school microservice in this Eureka server. See, so whenever I am giving an examples, don't look into deep dive into this inside the implementation of the school microservice and student microservice, all the structure what we followed previously. But here the main focus on how the Eureka server is working, and also I'm writing all the logic in our controller only. I'm not maintaining all service layer, repository layer and all. Why? Because that is not a main mode of this application. That is not a main mode of this class. Main mode of this class is how Eureka server is working. How can we configure our microservice system to the Eureka server? That is what we should know from this class. So that is the reason I implemented all the logic in a controller only. So forget about that standards and all for this implementing these services. But we need to know how we can configure this service, how we can call service inside this service, how we can call, and how the services are available in Eureka server dashboard. That is what we need to focus. Fine. So student microservice, which will give some functionalities, based student entity. Fine. So that is what we are implementing this service. So it will be REST based service. Most importantly, it will be Eureka client service. Yes. Why? Because we are going to register service in a Eureka dashboard. So which will talk to Eureka service to register itself and service registry. Just simply we are registering the service. How we are registering out what are the components we need to configure, we will see now. So, and school service, the same type of student service. Obviously, same type of student service. Only added feature, it will invoke student service. So in this we are consuming a one service here, student service we are consuming here. Why? Because in the school I want to find a 5th class students. So in a school I want to find a 10th class students, 10 plus students. So in that I need a student service. So we are invoking the student service inside the school service. So this is the lookup mechanism. We will not use absolute URL student service inside that service here. So that is what you cannot you should not worry about the what are the URLs to we are using to found that consuming that service. That will be we already covered in a service consumption. So we don't need to write in a better way to consuming all that service in a student service in school service. Don't worry about that code and all. So we have all the service you can try the same in a whatever we consuming the services the same way we can register in here. Fine. So here Eureka server. See, by default, the Eureka server is providing Netflix provider, right? Netflix platform. So that Netflix platform, this Eureka server, the default port is 8761. So previously we have a config server that is the 488888. So this Eureka server default port is the 8761. So let me see. So this is the Netflix component, right? So building a microservice with Spring Cloud and Netflix operating system services. So fine. So let me open my Eclipse. See, here we created a 3 microservices. One is EC 10, project 10. These 3 micro. One is the first of all, one is the Eureka server. Let me close all. Fine. Let me close all. Let me stop all. So I think all the services are running. So before class, I just tested all the services are running on. Fine. So let me stop. Terminated. Fine. So fine. So now Eureka server. So first of all, I want to open this form.xml. So what component we need? So simply here we are not doing any controller and all. Simply we are integrating a simple microservice with the Eureka server. So that's for that I added Spring Cloud Starter Eureka server. So simply I need this one. And also Activator. So this is the main use case of Activator. So Activator will always keep on listening heartbeat from the whatever the services are configured, whatever the services are listed in this service. When the service is down, it will the use case of Activator this is. So the use case of Activator this is, and how we are going to write a components, in other services using this Activator, we will see now. So fine. And coming to this application. So whenever we are using a third party components or external components related to cloud components, we need to tell our Spring Boot, hey Spring Boot, I am using Eureka server. You need to enable that. I am providing a @enable Eureka server, so that internally it will automatically enable this and integrated this Eureka server based on the configurations, based on the runtime, based on the availability of libraries. Already we already added this library or dependencies in this, so that Spring container will take care of that. So by enabling this Eureka server, fine. So this is what the service, and also you need to check YML and you need to check Bootstrap. So I given two kinds of here server port. These are the YML files. Till now we did application data properties, right? The same way we can use YML also. The difference between application data properties and YML. YML is a programming style. Application data properties file is a that key value style. Key value page style. Key value page style. That is a key value page style. This is a programming style. Server port. So yeah, I'm giving a port number here. And Eureka client register Eureka false and fetching register false. Okay, fine. So some default parameters I given here. So this is the port number. Fine. Bootstrap. This is the Bootstrap. So config server I am giving a config server URL of this one. So I created this is also. So this is the Eureka server. I'm giving a config server also. So wherever we are configuring those things, we need to fetch here. So sorry. So wherever we are configuring this Eureka server, we need to fetch the here. So that is what here. Let me run here. Let me run this application first. So that we will see what is the Eureka server dashboard. So fine. It is started port number on 8761. So let me open. So this is the URL. This already I'm giving you people to run and check the once you run in your local. Okay. So I'm already providing that URL. So let me check this URL first. Let me check this URL. I'm opening this URL. So yeah, system status and Spring Eureka. So we are using the Spring Eureka Spring Cloud, and instance currently registered with Eureka. So what are the instances? What are instances in the sense? What are the services are available in this? So no instances are available here. So no port number services, no services are registered here. So let me run. So this is the general info. Sorry, this is the general registered replicas and all is there, right? So this is the IP address of my local system. Fine. So fine, no instances are available. Now we can check another service. So what is this? Student service. First of all, we need to check student service, then we can go to the school service. Why? Because student service is invoked in the school service. So let me open this format XML. So whatever we are adding here, we are we are adding a Eureka as well as Actuator, Eureka and Actuator. Fine. And also web. Why? Because we are using a we are writing a controller classes. So fine. So let me open this application with properties. No, nothing is there. And application at YML. Yeah, YML file. So here we are giving a zone or Eureka server address, so that whenever we are writing this application, this is the port number of this application. This is the port number of this application. So whenever we are giving a this URL, Eureka URL, automatically it will register. It will load. If the Eureka server is up and running, of course it is up and running. It is up and running. So once we have a base, so that we can give the base address here zone or default zone, it is enabled true, so that whenever we are running this application, automatically it will register. And the name is student service. The name is student service. The Spring application name is the student service. That is, we need to give like that. This is the port number. So this is related to components related instances. Okay, Eureka instance. That is fine. So this is what configuration, and our application name should be appear like this in this host. So already this host is running and available. Fine. Now you can see student service, the main class. So here enable Eureka client. Of course it is a client. Why? Because we are going to registering the service in a Eureka server. So for that server, this is a client. So that is the reason I given this is a client service. We are going to register this service in a Eureka dashboard, so that treat my service as a Eureka client and enable this Eureka client. Enable this Eureka client I given here. Fine. So what is before controller and what is this util class? So this is what Actuator uses. So this Spring Eureka student service configurator. So you can give any name here. Based on the main class, I'm taking the implements info configurator. Info configurator in the sense the information related this configuration. So what is this info configurator? From which library it is downloaded, which library it is imported? See Actuator. So Actuator will check. Actuator will give the every time to a heartbeat to the Eureka server. Hey, this service is running up. This service is running and up. So like that it will give, and also it will give the information related to the service. What kind of service is it is? So what kind of service is? So description. Those description of the service. This is a student service. This is a student service, which is a discovery server aware. Of course, you can discover on the dashboard. And this service will called by the school service. The service will be called by the school service for student details. So the service will be called by the school service. So this service is going to consuming in a school service for the student details, which again a discovery server aware. So this service also we can find on Eureka dashboard. That is what I given a description about this service. So for that we need to write one small utility class. Based on that only it will give the information on your Eureka dashboard. Fine. So domain in the sense model. So here I'm having a student name and class name. So the student, hey, some student is some 5th class, some student from 10th class, some students from 12 plus. So like that we have. Fine. So and coming to controller, just I'm defining a this student service. This is the static DB. I have some values predefined values related to the this DB database. So I don't want to connect a external database here to spend more time on that. So that I'm creating one small static DB here. From the static DB, I'm having one API request mapping. So I can give get mapping also. So I given a request mapping, no issue. So here get student details for school. So you need to, if you are giving a school name, Based on that, you will get the students. So based on that, you will get the students. See here, in this database, school database is maintaining a students and class. So here I'm giving a student list and student Saizal. Sazal is the class 4. Lokesh is a class 5. And this is the ABC school. This is the ABC school. And Kajal is the class 3. And Sukesh is the class 6. So these two students from the XYZ school. So I have a two schools as well as list of students from the school, right? So this is a simple database. So I don't want to connect an external database and I don't want to write a repositories and all. Just a simple students. I need to connect column. I need to get the students details from this DB. Fine. So now, whenever you are sending a school name, you will obviously ABC school, you will get the school here. So if you are not, if you are giving an extra any other schools, just I'm getting if the student is student school name is the key, right? This is the key value page. Why? Because this is a map. So map kind of database I'm maintaining here. So map kind of maintenance. One is the school name and one is the list of students. One is the list of students. Fine. So coming to here. So I'm passing a school name. You should give the respect to student names based on the school name. So fine. So this is what one server service, and I'm running this service also. I'm running this service also. Just I'm running. Just I'm running this school service. This student service. The student service is see restarted the service with the Eureka server. That is what we are getting a console messages. Let me check. As of now, we don't have any available services here, right? So let me refresh this dashboard. See now the available zones are 1, and this is the desktop. This is the my localhost server name, host name, and student service. This is the student service, and the student service is running on this port. Whatever we given a port number in our YAML file or properties file, the port is coming here. And also, if you click this service description details. So this is a student service, which is a discovery server there, and this service is will be called by the school service, and from the student detail for student details. So this is the not from, this is a for. That is a type of mistake. Okay. So this is the first student details, which is again a discovery server. So in this dashboard, if you register like that, you can know this service is up and running first of all, and you can know what is the service name and what is the port number of the service. That is second thing. And we can know what service is behaving, what type of service it is. So that is what a description. In the service we mentioned in a utility class using Acquator. We implemented some interface info contributor, so that in that utility class we mentioned in a single map key and value. So what is the key? So here, what is the key? Key is the description, value is the what that service it is. So this is what we are writing as part of service information, and this is what we are registering this service into the Eureka server dashboard. Fine. Now I want to check the another service. What is another service? So let me open Pom.xml. So here also we have a Acquator and data, Spring Data and web, right? So remaining all are same. And coming to application dot properties. So here we have a, and we should give the Eureka server, obviously. Why? Because we are registering, and this is the school service. So this name should be appear on the Eureka dashboard as a school service name. Fine. And I am giving you some port number related to this application. Fine. So what the service is doing, I want to do something, right? So here I'm calling an external service. So here I'm calling an external service. So here simply, if you want to call a external service, you need a REST template, and this is the request of school get school details by passing the school name. So if you pass the school name, you will get all the student details, right? So from the school service, you can get the student details by passing a school name. Fine. So this is the path variable. Fine. So here I'm preparing a map kind of response. Fine. So here REST template dot extends. Why? Because a student service is an external service, so we need to call by using REST template only. So I'm directly instead of declaring this URL in in other place, and so that I'm directly giving this name here. So this is the school name, and whatever it is coming here, that will be appended here, and the parameter string. So fine. New parameterized reference. New parameterized reference means it will automatically, whatever the string is coming, automatically it will take school name dynamically here. So fine. So, and the school name, I'm giving a school name also. The school name will be replaced here. The school name will be replaced, right? So after that, we will get the response as a string. Why response as a string? If you see here, in this, what we are written in this example, the controller student service, we are giving a list of students, right? Object, right? So here we are taking as a response in okay, fine. This is the response. So response, the get body, response at get body, we will come the response we are giving here, student details and school name. So key values, school name and student details we are passing here. Fine. Let me run this service also. I'm running this service also. So whenever we are running this service should be available. This service should be available in Eureka server. See, updating the port. So the service is updated by in the Eureka server. So let me check. So now as of now we have a student service only. Let me refresh. So now we have a student service, school service also. School service also, right? So now we have a school service and student service. So if you open this is also, okay, this is the school service, which is discovery server aware. The service will call student microservice for student details, which is again a discovery server aware. Fine. So now you can open, you can test the one more student service. First of all, you need to check the student service. So this is the student service. So by passing a school name, we will get the students available in this school. If you give XYZ school, XYZ, right? So this is the one more record. Here we have those two schools. This is the XYZ school, and previously I called ABC school. So this is what I records. Now I want to run this one. So if you pass ABC school, so the same school name is the ABC and the details are the this one. So whenever you are calling this 9098, internally it will invoke this is the school service. Internally it will invoke the student service. So if you pass XYZ school, X by Z. So see, internally it will invoke the XYZ school. So this is what we are able to invoke. We are able to importing this, consuming this service, and also we are returning as in a string format to the response, so that our response is the map kind of response. So here just school name and student details where we are knowing here. So forget about this way of writing code here. So we already done that all the rules way of writing code in our previous projects. But here our more motto is how our services are discovered, our services are registered in this Eureka dashboard. So that is what main motto of this class. So are you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, so simply see, previously we done a lot of things. We done Spring Boot microservices. We done Spring Boot microservice with the MongoDB, Spring Boot microservices with the SQLDB, Spring Boot microservices with the exception handling, Spring Boot microservice with the JUnits by enabling by using Mongo service, and also Spring Boot with Kafka. So right, so all we did in very well in a good way. But here we want to know how the Spring components, cloud components, how the Spring cloud components are behaving. So what are the features are available from each and every component. Some of the components we are checking now. So from that our list, this Eureka server is one of the feature. So what is Eureka server and why we are using this, why should we use this Eureka server, and what is the importance of this Eureka server, we know from this class. So this is what Spring Cloud Eureka server class. Got it?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, friends.
Got it.
Be available for the next 2 classes also, so that after that we will do our mock interviews. Okay.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very. Bye.
Thank you.